Welcome to our live coverage of the men's singles final of Italian Open 2025, to be played between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner on Sunday, May 18th. Facing off for the first time in an ATP Masters 1000 title round, both men are contesting their 25th tour-level summit clash. Sinner is making his return to tour for the first time since he won the Australian Open in January, but up against him is the fiery Alcaraz, who leads the head-to-head 6-4, including wins in their past 3 encounters. Follow the live tennis score and updates from the Sinner vs. Alcaraz final at Rome. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Hi. Greetings and a warm welcome to everyone joining us. We are minutes away from the start of the much-awaited men's singles final between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, and will bring you the build-up and live updates from the match. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Start time, streaming. To be sure, the men's singles final is slated to begin at 8:30 p.m. IST. It will be live-streamed on the Sony Live app and website in India and telecast on the Sony Sport Network TV channels in the country. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Reason for delay. Sinner and Alcaraz should have been out on court by now, but there is a slight delay due to a hard-fought men's doubles final that went right down to the wire. Mata Pavic and Sadio Doumbia eventually prevailed over Marcelo Arevalo and Fabian Rebul with a 6-4, 6-7, 8, 13-11 scoreline. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Players arrive. After an impassioned rendition of the Italian national anthem that gets the crowd going, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are welcomed onto the court. There is no about doubt who holds the spectator sway. The loud cheers for the numero uno bearing evidence, even as he is described as the biggest current face in Italian sport on air. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Moments away. The customary pre-match knocking is now on, and play will begin in less than a minute's time. Sinner to serve first. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Set 1. Game 1. The match begins, and despite a double fault at 40-15, Sinner holds serve with relative ease. First up, Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Game 2. Carlos Alcaraz is taken to deuce in his first service game, but eventually holds amid loud cheering for Sinner. The first set stands at 1-1. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Game 3. The players finally beginning to get their range with ground strokes, and we are seeing relatively longer rallies. Sinner holds his service amid some resistance from Alcaraz, and we are 2-1 on serve in the first set after 3 games. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Game 4. Once again, Alcaraz is challenged on serve, and after another round of deuce, the Spaniard eventually holds. This is getting riveting. We are 2-2 on serve. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Game 5. It is Alcaraz's turn to test Sinner's serve now. The Spaniard garners the first break point of the final, but the world number 1 finds a way out in the crunch moment and holds on. We're still on serve after 5 games in the first set. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. After Game 7. A number of delectable slices and drop shots ensue in Game 6, which Alcaraz wins on serve. He then makes Sinner work again in the latter's service game, and after conceding another break point, the numero uno player wriggles out again to hold. 4-3 on serve in first set. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. After Game 11. The tussle to break serve continues. We are at 6-5 now, and Alcaraz is now serving to stay in the first set. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final, 6-6 in set 1. What a topsy-turvy Game 12 that was. Sinner had several opportunities to close out the set, but Alcaraz showed his champion mentality and came out clutch repeatedly, staving off 3 set points to take the first set into a tiebreak. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Spaniard clinches tiebreak. Sinner blinks first, and it's Alcaraz who comes up trumps in the first set tiebreak by a 7-5 margin and takes the vital lead. The Spaniard is halfway through to the title, with this being a best-of-3 encounter. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Set 2, Game 2. Alcaraz has picked up from where he left the first tiebreak. He is charged up and has begun the second set buoyantly, breaking Sinner's serve straightaway to take an early 2-0 lead. He is 4 games away from clinching the title. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Set 2, Game 4. Alcaraz's dominance continues. He puts the Sinner serve under huge pressure again, and the Italian has no answers as of now. Alcaraz leads 4-0 in the second set, primed to clinch the title barring a remarkable fight back from the home favorite. Jannik Sinner vs. Carlos Alcaraz live score, Italian Open final. Game, set, match for Spaniard. And that's that. The world number 3 wins the second set 6-1 to claim a 7-6, 6-1 victory in the final. Sinner began well but lost steam in the face of Alcaraz's relentless attack, and the Spaniard complete the clay court set of ATP Masters 1000 titles.